if we can get sound, or if that's just crafty ref. I guess it's fixed now. You can hear us now. So once again, welcome. It's round 2 here at the Reykjavik Open, the dreaded double round. Thankfully, we only start the show 2 hours in.
Yeah.
I was here at 9 taking photos, so the guys have been playing for a couple of hours. For you Twitch people, for you Chessbra fans out there, I think the first result of the live boards that's just out, it's Aman Hambleton has won his game against Ellen Kakoulidis. So maybe we'll start by having a quick look at how that went. Also, hello, of course, to everyone in the Twitch chat.
Which board is that?
As you can see, it was board 25.
So I'll just pull that one up. So board 25 was Aman against Ellen Kakoulidis. Ellen has been here many times before. She's the girlfriend of the number 2 seed.
Niels Grandelius. Yesterday she had a very good result. Both her, it's funny because the two Ellen today sat next to each other, Ellen Kakoulidis and also Ellen Nilsson. They both of them yesterday beat players rated almost 300 points higher than them.
Oh, nice.
So the other Ellen, will have a look at her game maybe a bit later. She's playing Grandmaster Fabian Libisevsky.
I didn't notice. I kind of, when I wrote the report for Icelandic media, of course, I focused on some Icelandic
yeah. If you were not with us yesterday, young Stefan Bream, he was also in the broadcast with Ingvar. He played a fantastic game to beat Andrew Tang, aka
with Black.
Penguin GMS Black.
Very impressive game.
Yeah.
So Aman, of course, he has a lot of fans. One of the chess pros, and he likes to play the London, but he went for a mainland now, and they just played a Queen's Gambit declined. Fairly standard stuff, and Bishop D6. Usually it's what Black wants to do is play Bishop D6, but I'm not sure you want to.
Isn't it strange to move that bishop again?
To spend an extra tempo on it. So White should be getting a pleasant edge. But Black's plan is quite clear. Now she wants to play Bishop to F5. Just trade off the light squared bishops, get some trades in. But Aman plays F3, so he's ready to meet Bishop F5 with E4. Castles, knight D2, B6. And he goes for kingside castling. Queenside castling might be tempting, but it's very classical to castle kingside, and eventually White wants to break with E4. A very classical plan here by Aman. Now he goes E4 immediately, trades, and C5. So probably Black is very close to equalizing, but probably having spent this one move.
This tempo on Bishop D7, Bishop D6, yeah.
You're just slightly behind, and a nice tactic coming up here. Knight E4 first. This means that you can't take on C5 with the queen, and after B takes C5, which is already a blunder, but you're losing a pawn. Now a winning tactic for White, which...
Can you spot it? I know it's early in the morning, but who can spot the winning tactic here?
Early morning test.
The live board might be a bit of a giveaway.
Perhaps.
But let's see.
Yeah.
And Schildkröte, hello Schildkröte, by the way, is the first to get it indeed. Queen takes D5.
Setting up. This is just a puzzle rush.
Yeah. Puzzle rush, yes.
Puzzle
setting
rush,
up
like
the fork on F6, so Ellen resigned here.
Yeah, losing a piece, Queen takes D5, Knight F6. Yeah, so a nice easy win for Aman Hambleton, and
so
good for the double day.
Absolutely, yeah. We saw it's possible here in Reykjavik Open, by the way, to take half point buys, and there's quite a lot of players. I think a total of, how much did I say?
We have the.
We have the pairings.
You have to see it online.
There's almost 30.
Hannes always takes a buy in the morning.
Yeah. Also Gumi.
And Bray, yeah.
So yeah, almost 30 players taking a buy this morning. I've already talked to some people who are going to take a buy in the afternoon to watch the football tonight because of the time difference.
Ah,
The
is
football.
it Champions League?
Yeah, it's Liverpool.
Is Marseille taken by?
This afternoon.
Yeah.
This I don't know because like I can't. I just know Libby Savsky told me he's taken a bye in the afternoon, but we can't know yet who's going.
Icelandic Grandmaster Hjörvar Gretarsson is taken a bye, I think.
I think so, yes.
He's a big Manchester United fan, perhaps
but
too much.
Man U are playing tomorrow, so.
Oh, they're playing tomorrow.
That's no excuse.
Okay. No, then he's taken a bye tomorrow.
DH is asking, is Botas playing? Yeah, Alexandra is playing, but she's not on the live boards, unfortunately.
She lost in the first round to my friend Sjöberg.
She streamed last night where she looked at her game together with Anna Rudolph. By the way, I have messaged Anna to try and get her on the live show at some point today, either this morning or this afternoon. And hopefully we'll also have Erik Hansen with us at some point, who's visiting here in Reykjavik at the moment.
Should we perhaps just have a quick...
Let's go to the top board. So let's go to board number one, where our top seed, Gawain Jones. By the way, I was just looking at the 2700 chess website.
Yes.
And Gawain's life rating at the moment is 2698.8.
So winning here.
A win today. And I think he's never crossed 2700 even on the live list. So a win today would be absolutely massive for Gawain.
Yeah, it would get him over 2700.
Yeah, a lot of moves have been played here already. I think we should probably go through the opening moves quite quickly to catch up with the action.
Wow, they're already up to move 24. Yeah, it looks like it was probably preparation from them both. Dinara with white, she's from Kazakhstan.
She's been doing very well recently. I saw her in January. I was working at the Tata Steel tournament in Vaikansee where she played in the Challengers group. Her result in the end was not great, but she had a lot of very good positions, so her score could have been a lot better and should have been a lot better, but
it's a very strong group.
Very strong group, and she's a very strong player. So
Kazakhstan has some strong players now. Also Sansaya.
Yeah, who played here a few years ago. Yeah, they have a very strong women's team actually, but let's see how.
Yeah, so Dinara went with G3, fianchettoing. And most likely she's well prepared. Gawain, I think, almost always plays the King's Indian, especially if he needs or wants to win. So no surprises here. And bishop to G5, bishop E6. Knight to D5. Gawain took, she took an F6. And Knight E7. So already have this middle game where white has this pawn here and protects it with E4. I would imagine at some point black would love to
get the knight to
D6. And eventually get the bishop out of the way, break with F5. The first queen D7. You can also maybe just play for C6 at some point. Yeah, okay, immediately. Takes, pawn takes. Knight F5. Okay, so the knight can go to either D4 or D6.
It's once again we have the debate now. This isolated pass pawn, is it a strength or a weakness?
Yes, exactly. So she elects to play D6, sort of.
Just giving up the pawn immediately.
Yeah. Tactical move, hoping to regain the pawn at some point. Let's see, Gawain took, queen D5. And now we're attacking the pawn on E5. We're also attacking the knight on D6. Rook A to D8. And she took on E5. Queen to F5. Knight back to D3. And we're getting some trades already. Rook F to E8.
It's looking very level now.
Yeah, rook C1. So white probably doesn't mind the rook coming into E2. We can just kick it away, either king F1 or bishop to F3. Rook E7, king F1, knight F5. Now that the pawn is gone, then the knight on D6 doesn't make as much sense, so Gawain wants to put it on D4. And I think we have sort of a level position. And
also on the clock, you can't see the clock times yet, we're still working on that, but they both have white has 33 minutes to black's 40 minutes. I think it will be very tough for Gawain to get something going here, especially with the opposite colored bishops.
I think he has a slight edge.
Slight edge, because his pieces are more active.
The knight is better on d4.
Yeah.
The bishop, I think I prefer it on the diagonal that it's on, just putting pressure on b2, because white will never do anything here. Well, we can double the rooks on the d file, but okay, then what?
Yeah.
White also can try to improve her own knight to bring it from f4 maybe to d5 at some point, or even c5. So I think, yeah, it would be hard to make something happen.
But he will try, of course.
Of course he will try.
This will be probably a long battle ahead still.
Yeah, it's a level position, but it's not, completely dry. You can still try something and play for something.
Shall we move on to board 2, where Niels Guandelius is playing against Lo Zhen Yu Cyrus from Singapore, international master player. I'm not familiar with, I have to say.
Yeah, that's a long name.
It's quite a cool name, actually.
Yeah, it looks like some action hero.
Yeah, you can see him on camera now. He's quite a young player. I don't know how old he is, but probably still a teenager, late teens.
Yeah.
And once again, a lot of moves have been played. Do you want to shall we quickly go through the opening?
Yeah, just quickly. Niels had white, and well, where's he from? Singapore. No.
Singapore, yes.
Yeah. So the young player from Singapore played the Petrov. Perhaps he idolizes Fabiano Caruana. Guandelius goes with d4. Knight takes, and we get a theoretical position. Knight c5, bishop to e3, c6, and a trade on d3. So black gets the bishop pair, but white has a slight lead now. In development, we have to prevent white from going f5, so g6, knight goes to d2, and swings the knight over to the king side, and bishop to f5.
And we're being informed by Crafty Raf in the chat that he's only 17 years old.
He's 17, okay. Yeah. So rook a to e1. Let's just quickly move through the moves and just get up to speed. You have a rook trade, rook e1. So again, yeah, already we're seeing tougher games for the top seats. I think why didn't he put the knight on e5? Maybe.
Yeah, e5 looked like a knight outpost, but maybe the knight isn't really doing much there.
It doesn't.
And then it will have a hard time, maybe even coming back out.
Rook to f8 and g5, and you can undermine the knight. So he prefers knight to d2 and g3. So again, I'd probably slightly prefer white, but just like in Gawain's game, it's not like a huge edge and nothing really.
Where is the ideal square for the knight? Where is the ideal outpost? Maybe d4, or where would you like to put the knight?
I think eventually he will try to either get it to d4 or e5.
E5.
At the moment, he's controlling the e file. But then what? I think black will just play something like rook f8. So you're ready to, when you play rook e7, maybe just take and play rook to f7.
I kind of like white's chances, but because I like knights, they're tricky pieces. I would, of course, try and keep the queens on the board if I can.
But you can imagine some kind of endgame where white will play for trying to blockade the queenside pawns, get a nice square for the knight, bring the king to the center, and you can get a passed pawn on the king side. I was teammate with Niels in the Icelandic League for some years, and
I would say
I remember a similar game.
Niels from the foreign players might be the one who has played here most times. Although he's still quite young, he's only, 25, 26. He's probably played here over 10 times.
Yeah, I mean, He was on my team already probably 10 years ago.
Yeah, I remember first seeing him here back in 2008, and I'm not even sure if that was his first time. So
Because he used to have dreadlocks.
Massive dreadlocks
For a long time.
Yeah, long time. Google Niels and you find some funny old
and
pictures.
it's still a long time. Now it's a long time since he had it, but when he had it for many years. So it was a trick question on one of my pub quizzes. I had the picture of dreadlocks, but it was Krishuk.
Speaking of pub quizzes, Niels has won the pub quiz himself.
Yes.
Yeah.
With his girlfriend,
Yeah.
Helen. I think it was. No, the year before, not last year.
I think it was probably in 2016 when I was not here.
Okay.
I think.
I can't remember who won last year.
Last year it was Peter
It was
Doggers.
Peter and Arne. No.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And 2 years ago, my memory
was it Leonard perhaps?
Leonard, I don't think has ever won it.
Yes, he has won it.
He has won it?
Yes.
But maybe he won it then when I wasn't here, because I have no memory. Magnus Carlsen won it in 2015.
2015 probably, yes.
And 2016 I wasn't here, so I don't know who won it that year. But anyway, pub quiz coming up this Friday. I did terribly last year together with the Ginger GM, so I'll try and improve my score this year.
Have you improved your team this year?
Probably not.
Your teammate didn't sound overly optimistic yesterday.
He also didn't even sound optimistic about taking part, but he will have to be persuaded. Okay, let's move on to board three.
Alireza.
Alireza, who yesterday got off to a flying start, absolutely crushed his opponent. So let's see how he's getting on today. I think I saw earlier in the chat somewhere that he's already doing well. Okay. He's playing against Robbie Kevlishvili, very Georgian-sounding name, but he's representing the Netherlands. I think he was born there. He's an up-and-coming player. He's been playing quite a lot recently, and I think a very dangerous player, so an interesting clash here.
Yeah. So Alireza with black, and we have the Rui Lopez. And yeah, this line with bishop to b5. White goes c3 and d4. Yeah, this line is very theoretical. Quite often white ends up giving up this pawn here on b5. Sorry, black. But white goes a5 here. And this is well known, although I don't remember why. You can take, probably because e5 will hang. So bishop to a7, h3, castles, and bishop to e3. Yeah, I remember the Icelandic national team was looking at this line some years ago. Of course, you can't take on e4 because of bishop to d5, hitting two pieces at the same time, double attack. So black takes, e takes d4, c takes, and knight to b4. So now the pawn on e4 is under attack. Knight c3 protects the pawn, bishop b7, renewing the attack, and rook to e1. So directly challenging black to simply take the pawn, and Alireza was up to the challenge and he took the pawn. He, however, has to give up the bishop pair. I think if he takes the other way around, he might have some problems with some kind of a pin, perhaps bishop g5. And you'd have to protect the bishop. Now you can't use the f pawn because it's pinned, and d5 you probably just...
You have to be a bit careful because d4 is hanging.
d4 is hanging.
But there must be something here. I mean, if we can somehow, if we could chase the knight from b4, then we can even take on d5.
Yes.
But how do we do that? Did we have to go knight d2? There was no better.
Yeah, maybe even.
Can we go something like queen d2 and then?
Maybe even bishop d2 or queen d2.
I want to, and then.
No, queen d2. So you don't have bishop takes f3.
I wanted to go bishop d5 next.
Yes, yeah, exactly.
It looks like we must be winning that bishop somehow. This seems to be winning. C5.
Maybe he gets away with c5 here. But then, you know,
Okay, but still, can I take and go bishop d5?
no, knight takes.
Oh no, knight takes, then you just say. Yeah.
Yeah, I think the other line. Okay, even though you get d4, like if I play f3, you take king here. Okay, it's a complicated line.
Yeah.
I mean,
There must be something, I'm sure.
I have a feeling there should be something better.
Yeah,
yeah, it must be something better. But it looks very dangerous. So, but there must be a reason why black takes with the bishop, because you'd prefer not to lose the bishop pair. But okay, black gets a pawn here, and now d5. Bishop to c5, bishop to d4. And if we quickly get up to speed, after rook e3, queen e1, and knight f6.
Yeah, because as we can see
position
on the live board, something is happening. After knight f6, white played queen d2.
Preparing to double, and Alireza didn't want to allow that, so he took on e3. And that's where we're currently at. Bishop takes
bishop
e3.
takes.
So white does have the bishop pair, but is it enough compensation for a pawn? I don't really see. I mean, this guy is not
doing anything. This already looks very bad. It looks like...
Yeah, and if you take on c5, just d takes, the pawn can come to c4, and then you have to worry about the d pawn. Black will improve this rook. It will come to e8 at some point. Yeah, I'm not sure what...
Something went wrong
Yeah,
here.
like bishop g5, then just knight e4. You don't have any maneuvers coming to c6, because the knight is covering it. So it just looks like to me that Alireza is doing quite well.
Yeah, a brilliant start. His first time in Iceland. Actually, just before we went live, I received a message from Mr. Lawrence Trent. I think he's going to do a chess-based show about the tournament. So he was asking me what the best games were from yesterday, and I just gave him two: the Alireza one and Stefan Bream.
Yes.
I think those were the two that, at least to me, stood out yesterday.
Exactly.
And it looks like Alireza is well on his way to continuing with his crushing start. Let's go to board 4, where we have a clash between two regular guests here in Reykjavik. Two very well-liked players, Ervin Lamy, former winner, and the one and only Tanya Sachdev. So also that means Ervin did win in the end yesterday. He was still playing when we wrapped up the show. But let's see how they get on today.
It wouldn't surprise me if they played before in this tournament.
They must probably have played. They both of them have been here so often, so very likely.
But Erwin has white, so a very tough matchup for Tanya. And we had a Queen's Indian. Alpha Zero disapproves. G3, bishop to b7, bishop to e7, castles, and rook to e1. So white avoids knight to c3, while black probably goes knight to e4. So rook to e1, knight a6, a3 playing against the knight, but c5 breaking the center, and now d5. So we have this typical pawn sacrifice in the Queen's Indian, famous from games by, I think, Polgievsky and Kasparov, where when black takes, white doesn't recapture but goes knight to h4. So at the moment, black can hold on to the pawn with knight to c7, but now knight to c3. And notice that white doesn't immediately recapture the pawn, he goes knight to f5. Well, he couldn't really recapture immediately, could he? I'm thinking if there's some problem for h4. But it's a piece though, so. But okay, knight f5 we could take later, but Tanya played b5 here. I'm just looking at the time. Tanya was first to spend some time in the opening, 4 minutes on knight a6, 4 minutes on knight c7. Meanwhile, Edwin was playing quite fast up until knight c3. So
actually, Tanya is down to, in the current position, they are on move 19. We'll get to that shortly. But Tanya is down to 13 minutes.
13?
Yeah.
Okay. So at the b5, Edwin took after, he thought about 12 minutes for this recapture. So it seems like the players are on their own in a way in this position already. Bishop to f4, attacking d6, knight back to e8. Not the ideal square, but you don't have really a good way to protect the pawn. If you do it with the bishop, I can maybe chop it off and play for the bishop pair. So Tanya prefers knight to e8. And I guess the plan is to push the knight away from f5 and then reroute the knight. Bishop to c8, g4. Okay, Tanya takes on f5 and expands on the queen side, and we have the current position after e4 and a4.
a4, yeah, that is a position on the board. It's a very unbalanced.
Yeah.
I don't even know. I'm just trying to look at the position and think, who would I pick if I had a choice?
It looks like, I mean, I think we can compare it to some kind of a Benoni position in a way. And if we do that, you know, there's a plus for black that you do have this expansion on the queen side. However, you know, this knight is not really making a good impression.
If we could put that knight to e5, I guess I'd be very happy.
Yes.
But it's a long way to e5.
That's a long way.
I can't even find a way.
Yeah, we have to go c7, a6, b8, d7. Huge maneuver.
Yeah.
I was also thinking about the e5 square, maybe queen e7, bishop e5, but white can always, because you have these double pawns, which usually are, in general, double pawns are a weakness, but here they can help each other and control some squares, especially the e5 square. And I think even here, white might just have a very dangerous plan of just going bishop to g3 and then f4, e5.
Yeah, that looks
So very simple and seems to me like a dangerous plan.
Yeah, and the problem is this maneuver we showed with the knight is just so
you
slow.
You don't have time for it.
But the problem is if you don't have time for it, what are you gonna do? Yeah.
I think you have to play for.
What happens if you play bishop e5?
Maybe you could do that. No, you play there. It's white to move. So yeah, that's it. Well, yeah, then we don't have time. Especially if you play bishop g3, we don't have time. Yeah, so maybe you should have done it a move earlier if you want to do it. That's definitely an idea, because I don't think white wants to take, because that would give black finally hope for the knight and excellent blockading square on d6. But I think white would just move the bishop, maybe even bishop g3, and I think this plan is the logical one to play here for white. Shift Ctrl Y. So yeah, we have a nice camera there on the board.
There we are, looking fresh.
We're lacking when we look at this.
Fresh like a daisy. Yeah, so I like Ervin's
he played
chances.
bishop g3.
Yeah, bishop g3 is on the board.
I like it when I predict 2600 Grandmaster moves every 10 moves. Makes me feel good.
Also, I mean, Tanya, 12 minutes for 21 moves. I fancy Erwin's chances here. Okay.
I like white considerably. It's just so much easier to play.
I agree.
I can go for something on the queen side, but the plan of f4, e5 just shuts in the bishop, and the counterplay on the queen side is too slow. So, already move 19, I can predict that Erwin should just win here, probably. A very, very promising position.
Absolutely. Shall we go to board 20? Can you guess who's on board 20? Who I want to go?
Ooh. Without looking?
Yeah.
Is his name Alex?
No, that would be a bit too obvious.
Stefan Breen.
You didn't even figure it out.
No.
You cheated. So yeah, I want to go and have a look at...
I looked, I didn't figure it out.
I want to have a look at Stefan Breem's game, who yesterday scored one of the biggest upsets of the day by beating Andrew Tang. Today he is white against Grandmaster Sabino Brunello. I think maybe we should just
20.
go to either just play through the opening phase quickly.
Yeah, let's just very quickly go through the moves. It was a Nimzo Indian, same opening as Stefan played against Andrew Tang, but now with colors reversed, and Stefan himself goes for the E3 line instead of Queen C2, which Andrew played. Rook E8, and bishop goes back to F8. This looks weird, maybe to some people, but once you've castled, you're quite happy to pull the bishop back to F8, and this is a standard maneuver in these lines. D5 by black now, and we sort of get positions that are similar to Queen's Gambit in a way, so nothing special going on just yet. Classical play by black, getting castled, fianchettos, and breaks in the center. I'm wondering if, black is just getting a slightly better position perhaps with simple chess.
Why do you say that black is slightly better here?
No, he's probably not slightly better, but maybe he has a clear target now with the pawn on d4. So white has to be careful now, not to allow black to blockade the pawn, but at the moment, you would like this knight somewhere else, but where to put it? So white can maybe play a quick d5 if black doesn't get anything special going. Rook to c1, queen c7, queen to f4. And queen back to d8.
The queen looks like...
Yeah, I was just worried that black would get an easy blockade on d5, and if you can do that, then black is better.
Yeah. h5,
okay, so he's pushing Harry.
I think we have maybe... No, this is the position on the board here. So what do we think? You like white? You like black, because of the d5 outpost, but also...
Yeah, because we have the isolated pawn firmly blockaded, and if white hasn't managed to push d5, then this piece doesn't become anything special. But it's an aggressive plan that Sabino has gone for with h5. He wants to play h4 probably at some stage, maybe even immediately.
Yeah, this is looking quite nice for
maybe
black.
just bishop f4. You don't want to give away the dark squared bishop, I think. So something like bishop f4. You have to move the rook. Yeah, I'm not sure about this for white. h4 already looks like a move. You'd have to pull back. And we have a pleasant choice, leave the rook on the d file or just take over the c file. Then stick something on d5. I think black is already looking very pleasant. I would prefer black here. But hopefully Stefan will keep fighting.
Yeah,
it's not like he's lost.
No, absolutely. We'll come back to this one. Let's go to board 11. Let's go to
I was thinking the same thing.
Let's go to our good friend, Great Minds. Great Minds, think alike. Let's check out our good friend Bjorn Torfinsson, who's playing against Grandmaster World Champion.
Former World Champion, Tigran Petrosian. No, we're of course kidding, but presumably he's named after him.
And we're just seeing on camera there one game finishing. It's off the live boards. It was Bojana Bejatovic from Macedonia, but I don't know who she's playing or how she played. Where?
You're playing Marcel Kanarak?
Yeah, she was playing the Grandmaster from Poland yesterday, who suffered the other big upset. But they had just one board of the live boards, so I'm not sure how that ended.
Yeah. So Björn has white. He made a detailed post on Facebook about how he struggled to win against a German chess tourist yesterday. And we have this Keres line against the English with c6, bishop to d2. And we're quickly going to go over the opening. Björn elects to go for the queen trade. But I think black doesn't mind, and in these structures the king is quite comfortable on c7, and black often claims that the c-pawn is too far advanced and you're leaving some weaknesses around it. You will play around these squares often with your knights, and having peaked at the current position, it seems like something similar to that has happened. So king d2, he trades the rooks, bishop to f5, hitting the knight, knight to c5, and perhaps, yeah, he found the problem with b4. I think you'd like to play b4 and a3 if you can, but I think you would struggle to support it.
So b4.
I think maybe just here.
And e3.
Yeah, and just a5. And either I get the c5 square back, or you have to open up the a file, and you're a little bit behind in development with your rook here. So he didn't want to allow that. Instead, he wanted to move the king over, but now a5, and now you've secured the knight here. So I think we're very close to an equal position, but I think black is just slightly better, but it's not much. Let's see, bishop f5. And white's problem is that he has a lot of pawns on light squares. So I think the situation right now is that either we will get an endgame clinic by Tigran and he will win, or Björn will be able to hold on and draw the game. So he plays rook to d1.
Just checking to see if that is the position on the board. a4 has been played.
a4, okay, yeah, you can do that because there's no b4. The king was on c3 already, we could play b4. But on the other hand, if he had played king c3 a move earlier, then black probably has time for b5. Oops, b5, not b6. And then b4, and maybe rook d8. And if you trade rooks, the king comes to d4, a good endgame for black. So can white hold on here? That's the question.
Yeah, I think white is nowhere near lost. It's just slightly worse, and it's gonna be a long suffering ahead for Björn. But we'll keep an eye on it. Meanwhile, I see that a few results have come in already on the lower live boards. On board 21, Daniel Zatsikovsky has beaten Daniel Abrahams, who yesterday was one of the upset winners. Fabian Libisevsky has beaten the other Danish Ellen Nielsen, and Abhijit Gupta, who yesterday was held to a draw, won against Atle Christiansen.
Oh yeah, Atle, he drew against Popov. Yeah. A very good game that he played yesterday against the former
Percy Paspon is saying European no faces champion. Of Fiona and Ingvar today. We will be back at some point, don't you worry, we are here. It's an early morning start. We're trying to keep our faces as covered as we can, but we are here with you guys.
Somebody said, what happened to Djukic?
Djukic, I think there's a problem with the board, but he is here, and I believe his game is still going on. Yeah. Shall we go and check Hjorvar's game?
Yes, let's do that. Let's keep
so Hjorvar, he's playing on board 14 against Justin Sarka from the United States. And he is your pick of who you would like to see win the tournament.
Yes. My fantasy pick.
Fantasy pick. Who did you pick to win the tournament? Alireza.
So Hjorvar has white. Justin Sarkar, he has played... I think he's played here every year now.
Yeah,
probably 4 years at least. Yeah. He even played, we had last year, the Icelandic Championship was an open tournament.
And he played then.
It didn't have a lot of foreigners. For some reason, we didn't really
advertise it
that much. But this year again, it's open. It's going to be in Akureyri.
very
Town in
nice.
northern
When
Iceland.
is it? It's quite soon now.
I think it's... I can't remember at the moment. I think it's May.
We'll look it up.
Yeah. But it's in Akureyri, it's in the north of Iceland. Very beautiful place.
I heard a lot of it. I've never made it that far, but hopefully.
Yeah. So for those who have played in Reykjavik many times, maybe you want to
mix it up.
Yeah, mix it up and experience something different. And I really enjoy going there.
Will you play?
Some weekend tournaments. I'm not sure. I think I might.
You know what? I think we should probably at this point just go to current positions, which will give us a chance to see more games.
Yeah, nothing special. It's just the English here, and White was expanding on the queen side. We had a similar game, similar structure in Kukis's game yesterday, but the pawns were different from White on the king side there. It seems to me White has things more under control compared to that game. So just like in that game, White wants to play on the queen side. Already he has a nicely placed knight. Bishop now on a3, he wants to play knight d6. Knight to e8, preventing it.
And bishop b4 has
Bishop b4 has been played. Yeah, bishop b4. Well, what does it do really? I first thought he wanted to have this square for the knight, but a6, knight c3, we have a5, so that's not the idea.
Yeah, and the knight is hanging.
So I'm wondering, what's the grandmaster idea behind bishop to b4? Does he want to play bishop a5? What does that do? Does that do anything? Is this the move played, bishop b4?
Bishop b4 is the move played, yeah. Yeah, I'm not sure.
Maybe he just,
maybe
the knight just goes to a3. Maybe he just needed the square for the knight, because black wants to play a6, and the knight doesn't have a square.
Yeah, and bishop wouldn't do much on b2 or.
Yeah, exactly. So he just needed the square for the knight. That's
the grandmaster.
Sometimes you think it's something really complicated, but sometimes you just have to play the simple move that the position demands. And that's the current position.
That is the current position. The time's 8 minutes only for Hjorvar, with 17 moves to go and half an hour for Sarkar.
Yeah, I mean, Sarkar is a tough opponent. He's 23-37, but he's an international master, and I mean, he can play some good games.
Yeah.
But then, in between, he seems to lose to much weaker opponents, playing badly.
Very irregular.
It's very up and down.
Shall we go back to our top boards? We'll maybe have a quick look at boards 5 and 6. On board 5, we didn't really look at him yesterday. It's Sergei Movsesyan, and he's black against Kassa Korli from Denmark.
Just a final word. I think Kira wants to go a5, knight c3, and reroute the knight to c5. I think that's a logical plan here. So probably slightly better. Black isn't really getting anywhere on the king side, so I slightly prefer Hjorvar. You want to go to Movsesyan's game, which is board number
5.
Let's keep an eye on the Man United supporters. Group them together.
Yeah.
So Movsesyan has black against Kassa on board 5. Kassa Korli, Danish-American, dual citizenship, I believe.
Yeah. I'm not too familiar with him. I've just seen the video he did with Simon Williams or something, produced by Outrageous.
Yeah.
Big shout out to Outrageous.
Yeah, they have some amazing videos. So Kassa is white, and we were speaking about dreadlocks earlier.
Yeah, he has some impressive dreadlocks.
Huge dreadlocks. So King's Indian, which I believe Sergei has played many times before. And let's just quickly, go through the moves without commentary and get the current position.
Pass pawn is just saying very unusual opening in this game with bishop d3 and bishop. I know.
Okay, so he's going for if you can do that, g4 and h4 without black sacrificing anything, Then you sort of stopped play. Okay, having said that, I didn't see the next move. If you can get these pawns and protect them, and it's a pattern that I like to call shutting down Spassky. It's from a famous pattern from Spassky against Petrosian match, where on the queen side Petrosian played a6, and the pawns are just completely locked. But it's the other way around. White is trying to lock the pawns, so if black plays g5, I play h5, h5, I play g5. So the position is locked down, and white can play on the queen side. But Mausesian didn't want to allow that.
Okay.
So g4.
Drastic measures.
Yeah.
So giving up a piece, but getting two pawns.
h4 as well.
And g4 is going to be very
And he's going to give him
weak.
another pawn.
Yeah.
Okay. Mausesian likes to do that. He takes some risks. So very.
He's always a great player to have in any tournament.
So now he gets a third pawn and king f2. So Casa's reasoning is that, you know, despite the pawns leaving the board, the knight is doing a decent job of protecting the king in a way.
I guess he's hoping to get something maybe going on the g5.
Some kind of blockade. But knight.
So we've had a couple of more moves. After knight g5, white took on g5.
And he flicked in queen g3.
Queen g3, king e2, and that is the position.
Okay.
So I guess he's thinking how to recapture on g5.
I'm thinking he wants to take with a pawn, just to get the f pawn rolling quicker. Because if you, because if you go queen takes, then maybe just rook g1, and it takes a while to get the pawns rolling, perhaps, and the king probably can just go to d3.
How many pawns do we have actually? Three. And with a5 hanging.
a5 temporarily, we don't really count that one.
Yeah.
So I think, just, you know, without taking a decision, I think I would prefer this, and I'm trying to make f3 work. So if rook g1, I want to play f3, but then g5 would hang.
Yeah, I don't think there's any need for this unless it works by force.
Okay, h takes, maybe rook g1, I just give a check.
Yeah,
king
like
d3
this.
probably.
Yeah.
But our pawns are a little bit blockaded. Can we give up a pawn? Play f3. Bishop takes d5, f2. I'm not sure.
What if... no. Can I play bishop h6 and rook h1 and... Nope. No, I can't. Oh, stay hydrated, bot. In the chat.
I'm way ahead of it. I've already downed half a liter, so... It doesn't look like half a liter though, does it?
Shout out to our sponsor, Icelandic Glacial Tasty Water.
So I'm not sure what's going on. Because it's hard to get the pawns rolling, and I'm not sure how you take. I don't want to take with the queen somehow.
I want to take with the queen.
Okay. Because the good thing about that is you keep your pawns, and if you get them rolling, they're
Because I feel like
connected.
I'm not in a rush, because I'm like, what's white gonna do?
That's a good point though.
I'm just gonna take with the queen, go back, and then slowly start
maybe
pushing
even
down.
maybe we don't even mind that.
I'll just maybe even go to f6.
Maybe and then push g5.
I'm gonna push. I'm gonna take on the a5. I'm gonna improve my bishop.
Maybe you just sack the piece and then.
Because what
play
does white do?
position.
It's not like white.
Let's say he opens up here.
Maybe you have to at least hit b7 now. I was thinking.
Yeah.
Rook b1 or something.
Because
now, okay, I'm gonna take on a5.
Yeah, and play b6.
Yeah,
now there's
that's why I wanted to go maybe rook b1 or queen
there's
b3
not even
first.
counterplay. Yeah, maybe you just take with the queen. Now you play f3, g5. You don't even need f3, but g5, h5.
Also in the chat, Sasha is saying maybe we can go queen h5 and g5. Queen h5 check, so after rook g1, I guess. Yeah, that's another very good point.
Yeah, queen h5. Yeah, you sort of keep control of the light squares, and now you just play f3 and then g5.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm starting to like black a little bit more than I did before. I think.
Yeah, I really like black here. I like.
Just like you said, we can
pawns.
even play it positionally of 6 down. It seems. We have a lot of pawns, so we're not even down material. Yeah. Okay, interesting game, but that we perhaps
Shall we go
keep
back to the top boards? Shall we go back to board 1, 2, 3, 4? Quick tour.
So.
Meanwhile, a result on board 26. Gupta Pritu has beaten Peterson as expected by rating. Vladimir Potkin, after being held to a draw yesterday, has beaten Gazarian, who played a very nice game.
Kirk went down?
Captain Kirk went down.
Damn.
So no upsets so far this morning.
No. But we'll see some.
Yeah.
Can you pull up the board 1?
Sure.
I'm just going to update the moves on...
Sure. So we left it on move 24. A lot has happened since. So after knight d4, h4 was played.
Keeping the pawns on black squares. He took on b3.
Yeah, I'm not sure how I feel about this exchange.
No. Double the rooks, I guess.
If I was white, I would have preferred to keep the bishop a5.
Okay.
Rook c5, b6, rook c6, bishop d4.
Ah, the bishop is quite strong on d4.
Knight f4. Rook e d7, doubling the rooks. Knight e2. Bishop takes d2, so black is winning a pawn, but how much? But okay, we're going to take b6. Yeah, so rook takes d7, rook takes b6, bishop a3, and rook b5, and that is the position on the board.
Yeah, bishop b4 looks like, well, not the only move, but a logical move.
Yeah. It's funny you're struggling with the mouse because Frozen Edge was just saying in the chat earlier, we can't afford a mouse pad these days.
Yeah, maybe after this one...
we'll go to board 7.
Johnny Machine pointing out something on board 7.
Big shout out to Johnny Machine. Board 7 is Alex. Things have gone very wrong for him there, but we can have a look at it. Some interesting tactics.
Yeah.
So we'll go there after this. Yeah, I'm still not sure how Gawain is going to make much happen.
He will try to target the pawn on b3, but is it enough? I can play just something like knight f4 now, preventing rook to here, and then knight d5 is coming. Yeah, I think he will struggle to make much happen here.
Yeah.
But I can't go check though and go to b1. Hang on.
Do I want to go here or do I want to go to g2?
Hang on a minute. I think we're okay here. Or are we? Because check and rook b1 and I take with check, so maybe I have to go here.
I would prefer to go to g2 just to be on the safe side.
Rook b1. Maybe this is something. Something, nothing, or everything. So the question is what's happening in the...
It must be a theoretical draw, surely.
I think it
But I would never be confident.
No, of course.
Defending it.
I mean, you don't want to defend it, but I think something like rook b7 and black will struggle to
make progress
in this.
I remember very recently, actually, a couple of days ago, I looked at a few years ago, I did a banter blitz with Niels at Chess24, and he had an endgame which was basically exactly this one, and he said it's a draw because the problem is to make progress, black needs to bring his king.
Yeah, and then you
and then white's just gonna pick up all the pawns on the king side.
And the problem is if you bring the pawn to b2, then your rook is stuck. You have to bring the king, but that's hard to do.
Yep.
And you need some extra weaknesses or an extra pass pawn, which black doesn't have. So I think it will be really hard to make anything happen here. And let's go to board 7.
Let's go to board 7. We will not look at the whole game. So board 7 is Alex Astani Lopez against Mircea Emilian Parligras from Romania. And let's go immediately to move 20 because that's where things started going wrong.
So Alex
for white.
has the white pieces.
Yeah.
Well known for his streams on Lead Chess.
Absolutely,
especially.
yeah.
And Emilian Parligras, I think this is his first Reykjavik Open.
I think so. I saw on Facebook he posted a couple of days ago. Also said he was looking forward to the Fischer Random tournament. He's here with his good friend Konstantin Lupulescu. We can look at his game in a second as well. He's playing John Pigott, but I'll tell you more about John Pigott in a second.
John, so here he made a draw. He made an IM.
He got his title here. Yeah.
He got his title. Yeah.
So here, after black played rook fd8, I think Alex miscalculated the tactics here because I think in this position, I don't think there's so much going on here.
So he went for a tactic. He took on a6, and the idea is clear. If you take with a pawn, I win a pawn. I take on a6. C6. If you take with a rook, I can't take on d8 or play b5. The idea should be b5, but maybe he missed something because this was played.
Well, this was played in the game.
Rook takes a6, b5. Oh, I thought the queen was on. Okay, I thought rook takes a3, but okay. After b5.
Yeah, so I guess what he must have missed is the move from the game.
Bishop takes f2.
Bishop takes. So the only thing we need to figure out is what happens after king takes.
Yeah, because of course rook takes, the rook is hanging.
Rook is hanging.
So king takes. Probably the simple solution is just to give a check. And we're up.
So I don't know. I assume this is what white missed.
This is an easy move to miss. I mean, you're attacking two pieces and he moves the third one. It makes no sense. But it's the kind of tactic you should look at. You should look at checks, captures, threats, and this is a check and a capture. So you'd have to look at it. Okay, king h2. Now he takes, and let's see. Takes. Logical. Yeah, but now he's down 2 pawns. So it looks like he's trying to go for some.
Bishop e3 here. Black played.
Okay, yeah. He wants to play knight g5, but he doesn't have time for it just yet, it seems. Bishop e3.
Yeah, queen f6. And okay, like white is still gonna try and make something work, but surely black can defend this. Okay, I mean, I would still be a bit, if I was black, a bit worried about knight g5.
Yeah.
But what happens? Can we somehow hit e5? I don't know, rook a5?
Yeah, rook a5 would prevent knight g5 when we just take on e5 with check even. So that's one idea, definitely. Logical.
I mean, I would still, okay, maybe here I can play rook d1, I don't know. And still okay, here white has, maybe rook a5
we have a threat here, so.
Yeah. And also rook d7 might be
maybe we have to be
a bit more careful.
A little bit careful.
I think once again it might be because I did see, spoilers, I did see the engine evaluation, but I think it might be the kind of position, that's very easy to defend for the engine with precise play. But for a human, I don't know. I mean, I would at least still be a bit worried, but maybe it's just a matter of finding a few precise moves.
Yeah. I mean, you don't want to go like fully passive, but if you're worried about like getting mated, queen f8 and rook d8, if you go here,
so what if I go rook d1 now after queen f8?
I'll have to pull back the rook to a8. But perhaps you don't want to go this passive with black. But still, you can play like rook c8 and push the c pawn. Maybe pull the bishop back if you want to.
Yeah, I think black will find a way to.
But queen f6, is the current position.
What's the word I'm looking for? Not solidify, to stabilize.
Yeah.
Stabilize, and then he'll be 2 pawns up. So yeah, that's
Yeah.
that. Where do you want to go? Should we go back to Niels, board 2?
Board number 2.
We haven't had a look at that in a little while.
Number 2.
Niels had the knight. We had a result on board 3. So let's go to board 3 first. Firuza has won his game against Kevilishvili. I guess we didn't miss too much, or did we? So we left this off after on move 22. We already liked black a lot here. So
bishop takes
after
E3.
bishop takes E3, black played knight E4. Queen D1.
Queen D1.
Yeah. Bishop takes
Yeah,
E3.
I was thinking you can take on E3 and put the knight on C5 if you want.
Knight C5, you put the knight first. Knight C5, rook A3. Queen E7, this is looking terrible for white. Queen D2, defending E3. Queen E4. Knight G5. Queen B1 check. King H2. Knight BD3.
So you're up a pawn and
Yeah.
you have the initiative.
Yeah. Bishop C2. Now B2 is dropping. Queen takes. Rook takes D3. But there's the check on E5, picking up the knight.
Yeah, of course. If takes, that's not what you want.
Yeah.
Well, that might even work as well, but Queen E5 check is just much simpler. Where did the king go? Maybe resigns.
G1. A few more moves. Black took on G5. Rook D4. So what are we? 2 pawns up.
2 pawns up with a very stable position.
G6. Yeah, just
shutting
stabilizing, shutting down the bishop.
No back rank issues.
Yeah. Rook F4. And after B4, white resigned.
Yeah, B4, B3 is coming next. Etc.
Yeah.
Okay, a very smooth game by Alireza. My pick, by the way.
Okay, let's go and see how my pick is doing. Mr. Grandelius on board 2 against Shen Yu Lo.
Where is he? Niels.
Let's see.
We have to move
And
26.
also, we're not going to go there because we just came from it, but a draw on board 1 between Dinara Sadrakasova and Gawain Jones. So, great result for Dinara. Yeah. And Gawain will have to wait a bit longer to cross 2700, but I have no doubt he will eventually.
He can do later in the tournament.
Yeah. He even gets another chance today, maybe even.
Maybe, yeah. I mean, a draw is not, she's 24-61. Yeah. It's not a disaster.
It's not the end of the world.
2 or 3 points down, but...
Yeah. Okay, so the Niels game, we left off here G3. After G3. Now black played King F7.
So Niels has the chance to take over the top board if he wins this game.
Yeah.
King F7.
King F7, Knight F3. Bishop E4, Knight E5 check, King G8, Knight G4. Those knights are tricky pieces.
Indeed.
Queen G7, Queen C5.
Playing around on the dark squares.
A6, Queen D6, Rook F8, A4.
Yeah, you can see already he's eyeing A5 at some point, fixing the pawns.
But black is going to push his own pawn, the H pawn.
H pawn.
H5. And Knight F2, Rook E8, A5. So fixing things on the queen side. Queen E7. And Niels exchanges the queens. Rook takes, and Knight D3 has just been played.
Utilizing the pin, the rook is hanging, and now the knight can go to C5. The next step is to bring the king, and you'd love to get the white king to D4. And this is sort of the kind of endgame that I was envisioning or talking about earlier that might happen. And
how do you? I guess white is better,
yeah,
but how do you rate his winning chances?
I think they're decent. especially because you know the path of the king. You know, if you get it to d4, which you should at some point, you have all these pawns fixed on light squares, and this looks like could be like a textbook endgame with good knight against. Well, not a bad bishop, but not a very great one, at least, because all you're doing is it looks nice on e4, but it's kind of just a defensive piece. So I have a feeling Niels will be able to pull through here.
I agree.
I love playing positions such
as
this one.
So you can just turn around forever. Take your time.
Squeeze the knight in the c5, and have a cup of coffee.
I was just gonna say I saw Niels earlier at the bar. He was already having. This was only 1 hour into the game. He was having his second coffee of the day. So Niels is ready for a long game.
Yeah, but this is like. There's no stress for Niels. I mean, he's just pressing. I don't think it's very hard for anything to happen.
All his pawns are on dark squares, so the black bishop cannot even hit them.
And there's no like. I'm not sure I like h5 because you lose your flexibility.
Yeah.
That's
You will never be able really to play g5 now.
You need some pawns on dark squares too. I think it's too passive.
Okay, we'll come back to this one. Let's go to board 6. We haven't seen that game yet. It's Lupulescu against John Pigott. And John Pigott, I was saying earlier, I was going to say a word about him. This is one of the most emotional interviews for me I think I've done a couple of years ago.
In this tournament?
In this tournament, in the last round, John Pigott was playing none other than Alexei Shirov, and he needed a win to get his final IM norm. And I think the last norm he had scored 20 years prior or something.
Oh, wow.
And what he wasn't aware of was that the win would also take him over 2400.
And he wasn't aware of it?
He wasn't aware, no.
Wow.
So when he came into he beat Alexei Shirov, which is amazing, of course. But when he joined me in the commentary room, he wasn't even aware that he had gotten the title. So that was very nice.
Wow, yeah.
And it's good to see him
it's
back
story,
here.
Yeah.
And he's playing against Lupulescu.
The other Romanian. There's only one point difference between the Romanians. One is 26-44, 26-34, the other one 26-33.
So we have this ending here where black is
he took
up
on
a
b3,
pawn, but white can take on a5.
Immediately regain it.
Bishop
d3 maybe?
Looks like a logical move.
Starting with my mouse a little bit, but maybe not so.
Yeah, so white has just taken on a5.
Yeah, might have another.
There's a question from Mr. Zaban in the chat. How are Gukesh and Prague doing? We can go to that in a second. Actually, if you check out my Twitter page, I took a photo. They're sitting next to each other today. Yeah. So check out. Will this take you to my Twitter? I think it will. So we'll go to their games in a second. And thank you to International Master Andras, who is just waiting with a party of 37. And welcome to everyone joining us. So
we might have another good knight, bad bishop kind of game here, because
and also an isolated pawn on c6.
Exactly. So if you move the bishop, which probably you don't want to do, then white can. Okay, let's say here, I don't know. Of course, king h2 first, or f2. No, f2 is made in 1, so let's go to h2. Yeah, d4, something like this. And white is definitely for choice here.
Yeah. Meanwhile, Brickleberry in the chat is saying, I must say that all the English team, all the grandmasters on the team are extremely nice and polite guys. Mickey Adams, Luke McShane, David Howell, Gawain Jones. And they recently won the silver medal at the World Teams, which was a fantastic result. And he's saying big respect for gentlemen and wishing all the best. I know all of them quite well. David, one of my best friends, and absolutely, I mean, all of them are great guys, and also John Pigott, who I had the pleasure of interviewing.
Yeah.
Fantastic gentleman, yeah. Luke, who's played here a few times, but not.
We were
not
teammates already in 2003.
Okay.
We went to the Greenland Open, the first Greenland Open.
And and we have a good friend of ours in the chat. Big shout out to the one and only Mikey G.
Mikey! Mikey G. A legend.
Mikey played here once. You should come back, Mikey. Mikey is about to become a dad. So congratulations to Mikey. And all the best. You probably don't know if that's a joke or... It's not a joke.
Okay, I'm not going there.
You're not going there, yeah.
So rook takes a5 was... No, he hasn't played it.
No, he did play rook a5. I don't know why we didn't get the move.
Oh, okay.
But rook takes a5 was played. And black is still thinking. Down to under 3 minutes, John Piggott, for 15 moves. 15 moves to go.
Who beats Stengrison? Mikey is talking about. He gaat naar muren.
I played twice, that's correct. I wasn't here the first time. And he
beat Stengrison. Yeah, and then the Icelandic Open, first round, I think. You did, Mikey. It was on the 19th floor, do you remember? I think that was Mikey. Yeah, it was Mikey, definitely. Yeah, he's like, yeah, I'm beating Nakamura.
So this end game, slightly favoring white,
yeah,
but
I mean, okay, it's
not the most.
Not catastrophic or anything, but Sasa Grande Ingvar, Sasa Barilovic. Luca Barellaro in the chat.
I didn't realize.
Why didn't you play this year, Luca? What's going on? Greetings from Italy.
Greetings back, of course.
Yeah.
Should be here with us.
Yeah, he has stayed with Björn. I'm living in the same street as Björn now. Actually, we're neighbors, like 3 houses apart.
I didn't realize.
Oh, Luca was working. Okay. Yeah.
The tough life.
The tough life.
Okay, let's check out. Let's leave these
I think,
guys
white
to
is
it.
better, I mean, but nothing special going on here.
He sent
He sent Potkin on his behalf.
Okay, let's go to the Indian youngsters. Let's start with. Meanwhile, Movsesian has won his game against Kasakorli. That was the one with the pawns on the queen side, king side.
Have a quick look at how it,
let's see
what
how
happened,
it concluded.
because it was interesting.
It didn't look like it was going to finish so quickly. So we're going to board number 5, Corley against Movsesian, which has just concluded.
So he left it when he was deciding how to take, right?
Yeah, and he did take with...
He
didn't take at all. He played f3 first.
f3 first, okay.
And then pawn takes.
Which
so
was sort of...
You were right.
I dismissed. Promote. I mean,
king d2, and he took with the pawn.
Yeah, f3 first, then you have to go, and you can't go to d3. The d3 seemed like the ideal square.
Yeah.
So of course you just check first. And now you can take, because with the king on d2, rook g1, the pawn isn't hanging, because the king is in the way. Okay. So what happened next?
So what happened next is white played rook b1, queen g2 check, king d3. It was over very quickly, actually. F2.
Yeah, and then the pawn can just roll, right?
Yeah.
Rook f1.
Rook f1, g4.
Yeah.
Rook takes b7, g3. Rook takes c7, taking as many pawns as possible. But queen f3.
Yeah, and the King's Indian, you have to turn right, but the right turn was too late.
And queen f3,
queen f3
and white resigned.
And the pawn's just too strong.
g2 is coming.
Yeah, I mean,
a very nice game by Movsesian.
A nice example. White almost set up the perfect fortress on the king's side, but he had to sacrifice it there, and of course he knows that, a great grandmaster. And yeah, nice example for you guys to understand the King's Indian a little bit better. So a very nice game by Sergei Movsesian. But we were going to go to...
Your friend Sigurbjörn Björnsson held Alexander Fier to a draw.
Very nice.
Maybe we can have a look later, but for now let's go to the games that are still underway, especially because the time control is approaching. So let's go to board 18, where FM Sohal from Canada, a player I'm not familiar with, is white against Pragnananda.
Yeah, and we're just going to stick to
current positions
in the games now.
Yeah.
Because, yeah, it would take too long to
I haven't picked the most exciting. of games. Okay, so equal
Well,
material.
well,
You
how
tell
do
me.
you
You tell me who's better and why.
Who is better and why? The eternal question in chess, right? Okay, but okay, who's better and why? Because, okay, I mean... well, the first thing that comes to mind is the backwards e3 pawn, which could be problematic. What was just the last few moves, maybe, to see what was happening. Rook e8, attacking the pawn, rook c3, protecting, h6, knight e2, and king back to h7, because he needs a square for the knight, otherwise g3. Okay, so white has this backward pawn, but at some stage you would love to play and put an knight on e5, but like the position we had before, it takes a lot of time, and in doing so you would hang the e3 pawn, so maybe not so easy.
The players are quite short on time. 6 minutes for white, 3 minutes for black with 14 moves to go, but in that kind of position usually it shouldn't be such a big deal.
Yeah, I know. I mean, it's not that complicated, but still.
It will be a very maneuvering game. I suggest we just leave this one as quickly as we can, because I think the players are getting short on time, so there is games where there is certainly more action than this one. Let me see how Gukesh...
I think that's the idea. Preferred black, play rook g8, maybe g4, open a g-file.
Gukesh is also playing an ending, so let's go maybe to Johan. I know Johan is completely winning, so let's not go there. If you have any suggestions in the chat for games that are currently very interesting, let us know, because it's hard to keep an eye.
Johan is
on everything.
He's just winning. Yeah. We're talking about Johan Hjartarson. He's playing Teja Vidic.
Okay, let's go to. Oh no, it's another. Okay, let's go to this one. This looks interesting. Dagur Ragnarsson against Jordan van Foreys.
That's board number 12.
Yeah. Board 12. It's also an
very
kind of ending, but a very unbalanced one. So this should be interesting.
Okay, it's actually 2 pieces.
Yeah.
A lot of pawns. So we're just gonna quickly go over like a middle game. So here, things start to happen. Van Forest plays e4, and Dagur goes for the pawns. He takes on c6 and gives up the piece for the pawn on b7. And here he gives up another piece on a5. Plays rook to c8, rook f8, and now he's pushing b4. Pushing baby.
I mean, this is the kind of...
This is kind of a position that will give you a headache for 3 weeks.
I mean, it's very tough, because this is not something you can just go for. Like, a lot of calculation will have had to be done at the board, but it's impossible to calculate it on. So you'll have to rely on instinct a little bit. But the pawns, a lot. The pawns look very dangerous.
But this is what Dagur does. He doesn't mind taking.
So we have 4 pawns for the 2 pieces, which is quite a lot of pawns. We have 1 pawn on b7.
I would be very worried with black here, because this guy is just out of the game. And okay, this guy is helping, but it's very passive. And I'm just playing a5, a6, a7. What you gonna do?
And no time for Jordan either.
He can't move the knight because b8 queens. The rook can't go to the b file, which he would love to do.
Yeah. But apparently, let me see.
Dagur is in good form. He's not 2380. He very recently.
But if we go
second norm.
If we go back, I cheated a little bit. But if we go back after b4 on the previous move, apparently Jordan could have gone rook g5, which was a lot stronger than rook d5, which he played.
Trying to utilize the pin.
And then apparently followed by bishop e4.
Yes, then get the bishop into the game. Yeah, definitely. Because what happened in the game? Rook d5, g takes f3. Now the pawn on f3 is taken away.
Why would you allow that if you can stop it? I'm a bit confused.
Yeah, bishop e4 could be crucial. Because rook g5, okay, let's say I'll go a5.
And then,
let's say
I saw the engine move. The engine wanted bishop e4 before rook g2. I'm not sure it makes a difference, but maybe we can then maybe potentially take with the pawn. I'm not sure. Well, we're hitting b7 for starters, so I guess a6.
Okay, yeah, but it's crucial that we're hitting b7 because a7 I take on b7.
Yeah.
Now I can probably take. I'm not sure where I want to go. I kind of want it here.
I guess I'll take on f2, yeah?
Yeah, maybe king f1. Yeah, king f1 because I have d3 under control.
But
so
king f1, are bad things gone? I know d3 you're covering, okay.
But I can play this.
But can I?
And maybe black is getting play of his own. Anytime I go a7, I take on b7. Yeah, maybe this was what he should have done, but we can't dwell on that because.
Yeah, I'm not sure what's going on.
What's the time situation?
Well, my computer tells me that Jordan has run out of time. We're very near. We're 15 minutes away from the first time control. Yeah, so it tells me he's run out of time.
It says he has thought for 27 minutes on this move.
Yeah, so maybe the board is stuck. We will go on a break in about 15 minutes when we reach the time control. So I think let's go. We've had a suggestion in the chat to go to board number.
Yeah, we'll keep an eye on this for sure.
Yeah, we'll keep an eye on it, but it could be that we're not receiving moves because I'm sure Jordan hasn't been thinking for half an hour.
Exactly.
Let's go to board 17, where Mathieu Cornet is playing against Alina Lamy. This was a suggestion from 64 Hertza in the chat. He's saying probably a draw, but interesting. It's a game we haven't looked at yet. We haven't seen any of Alina or Mathieu's games. So
Mathieu's up a pawn, though.
Yeah, I would say this is very far from being a draw.
Yeah, I mean he will definitely press the extra pawn on the king side.
There's also a question in the chat. What is the thing with the players in the tournament who don't get paired and get half a point? Basically, anyone here in Reykjavik Open can take up to 2 buys, I believe.
Yes, 2 buys before round 6, I think round 7.
It's a good thing we know the rules so well, but yeah, you can take up to 2 half-point buys. That's to encourage, of course, Iceland is a place with a great chess tournament, but also with some fantastic sites. So that is for people who want to come here and,
And also just for, casual players that don't miss as much time from work.
From work, yeah. So every round up to round 6 or 7, you'll see some players taking half a point. Bye.
And already we had some grandmasters take a bye, but they're local.
Early morning games are tough. 9 a.m. start. Yeah, so in this game, are we up to date? And let's see, what is this board? 17.
Yeah, but it's not really a critical position in any way. Yeah. So I mean.
Yeah, there's not much too much to say. The same colored bishops. And white is a pawn up. I don't believe this will be a draw. I believe Mathieu will convert this eventually.
I think I might just try to trade the queens, queen d4, and then bring the king, f3, king f2. It's quite easy to play and make some progress. And it's not winning, but it's very, very, very promising for white. Extra pawns tend to be for grandmasters.
I see a lot of players where the clocks have run out.
Oh, Christopher Yu.
Yeah, this position looks quite interesting. Actually, let's go there. Let's go to board 9. Christopher Yu, one of the up-and-coming players from the US against Aryan Tari, former
he's very young.
Junior world champion. Yeah, I think he's maybe 14 at most.
I saw him playing against Kukesh Blitz before on Sunday.
Let's just get to the current.
He beat Kukesh.
Okay, Kukesh, who is the youngest GM in the world at the moment.
So we have, a former world junior champion.
From Forget About It in the chat. How much for a pint of beer in Iceland?
Ooh, it depends.
I don't know, I don't drink beer, so I wouldn't be.
You don't?
No.
Oh, you're more of a white wine?
Yeah.
A white wine?
I know it's about £10 for a glass of white wine. I haven't had one yet since getting here, but a pint of beer,
What's
I don't
the
know.
exchange rate? Oh, I think it's less. Yeah, for a glass.
For a glass of wine, £10. Okay. But you have to, the trick is when you come to Iceland, you have to catch happy hour.
Yeah, there's an app for that called Happy Hour.
Really?
Yes.
That's brilliant. I haven't caught happy hour anywhere because I've been working here every time.
They have happy hour for us here at the bar here.
Anyway, you still haven't told us how much for a pint, roughly.
I'm trying to figure out the exchange rate. Do you want the pounds?
Euros, dollars,
euros,
anything.
I think euro is now like what, 1.150? No, 120.
1,000 Icelandic kroners is €7.5. This I looked up.
Okay, so like €9.
€9.
8 or 9 euros.
That's a lot.
Downtown. Yeah. But the happy hour is like 5 or 6 euros. Fair enough.
Yeah.
It's not like it's Norway, but it's pretty bad.
Hopefully that answers your question. Forget about it. As for this position,
yes,
what
Jon
is going
Christopher,
on here? Did you just call him Jon Christopher?
Yes.
Ah, yeah.
Isn't that him?
Ah, yeah. Is that how you pronounce it, Jon?
Christopher, you?
Oh, no, I thought you said Jon Christopher. Jon. Never mind.
Never mind.
Never mind. Let's
same
forget
as the
the
Icelandic
last
word.
Let's pretend.
So what's going on here?
Never happened.
White's sort of defending everything. It looks passive, but the knight defends b2, defends f2, the queen defends f3. But the first impression is that black is pressing here. The problem with taking up b2, which may or may not be a threat, is that your king is very vulnerable to checks here. So the question is, how does black actually improve here?
I'm getting a bit worried that we're not receiving moves anymore. Because all the games I checked haven't updated. And one player's
there seem to be a lot of games where there might be some problems with the transmission then.
I'm just checking in with the chat. Because all the games I have been looking at haven't moved.
Should one of us go out and check if...
yeah, do you want to do that?
Yeah, are you...
I'll hold the fort.
Can you hold the fort?
I'll hold the fort. Yeah, because all the games I see, let's just wait from confirmation.
Because it makes no sense that 27 minutes have passed.
Especially now, it's a pity this is happening because we are at the crucial stages and we're getting confirmation from the chat that there are no updates.
Okay, I'll try to.
So, Mr. Zibbit.
Make them fix it.
Yes, Mr. Zibbit is gonna go and work his magic. Meanwhile, I didn't even know, maybe we can put Niels on. We'll try and put either board 2 on or board 4 on camera. Let's put Niels on camera. Board 2, sorry. Now I understand. His mouse is tricky. Where is Niels? Here we go. And there's only been a couple more moves. King f7. Can't even work his mouse. King f7 has been played. And knight c5. I don't know if we can see on the camera whether there has been more moves. I still suspect that Niels is going to win this one. The knight has made its way to c5. Maybe at some point, if the conditions are favorable, he could even take on e4. Yeah, Johnny Machine. We can always hope, but last time I checked, it didn't look great. So we could take a break now, but the thing is, time control will be reached in 10 minutes. So if Ingvar can get them to fix the boards within a couple of minutes, it would be nice, because I think there are few games going on where there's critical time trouble. King seems to be on f5. Let me update my stream. I can't even see the video right now. 1 second. Be right back. Okay, here I am. So the king seems to be on f5 indeed. Let's try and figure out how that could have happened. So I guess after knight c5, I suppose black went king f6. I don't know what it is with Sibit's mouse, but it's terrible. So king f6, I suppose, was played. Yeah, the white king seems to be on f2, so maybe king f2 here. And then king f5, and because it's black to move, so white has played one more move. Can you spot it? The knight is still on c5, the rook is still on e1. So what has Niels played? He must have played a pawn move. Who can figure it out? Must have been a pawn move. Maybe h3? Is h3 a move here? Help me out. So the pawn is definitely on f4. I think h3 is the only move, because h3 and h4 seem to be the only moves he could have played. h4 doesn't make any sense at all. You don't want to create a hole on g5. Is there no sound at the moment? Is there a sound? Oh, it's okay here. Vinvin is saying it's okay. And no video is normal because we're looking at needs. We're trying to figure out the position, but I'm still here. So that is good. Crafty Rev has refreshed, so if you're having problems, do refresh. I am still here, holding the fort. Ingvar is out there trying to get the moves to the people who are in charge of the live boards to update the moves. I was just saying that I was wondering, so we've made a couple of moves which we guess were played. We have no confirmation, but we guess king f6, king f2, king f5 was played. And I was trying to guess what has been played. Crafty Ref thinks h4 has been played, but I don't think so. I think the pawn we see there is the f4 pawn, or is it not? I would say h3 has been played. Liveboard is updating again. That is very good news. Let me just refresh myself. And h4 looks like it has been played indeed. So that's interesting. Give me a chance to update. So we guessed right. Actually, we missed a few moves. Okay, so let's go back to knight d6, knight d3, which is where we left it off. King f7 was played. Knight c5, king f6, king has worked his magic. King d2, bishop e4. I will give you back your terrible mouse. I've been struggling with it now. And h4, king g4, rook e2, and king f5. And that is the position on the board. Time control has been made here.
Finally got moves back.
Yeah.
Yeah, there was
You've done good work.
Yes, thank you. There was some transmission error. And Einar, the guy in charge, was just having a pleasant meal. And I had to get back in there. Get back in the trenches. So things should be okay now. Except my mouse is horrible.
Yeah, so since we're now getting moves, let's see if we've had any more results. Niels, so this has made the time control. Let us know if there's any games that hasn't.
I want to see what happened in Tower against Van Forest.
Yeah, that's a good point. So let's go back there. Let's go back to board 12. Board 12, Ragnarsson against Van for race. They have just made time control. It's still a very unbalanced.
Let's go back to, let's get the moves.
So
we had this position, g takes f3.
We left it on move 30. Now black played bishop d3. A lot of moves were played here. Rook a c3. Rook g5 check.
This was probably played in some kind of a time scramble. What the hell?
Well, it works without the paper, actually. That's why I was complaining about your mouse.
Yes,
we need to get Sibby the mouse pad. Any donations for a mouse pad are welcome. So after rook g5, king h2, bishop a6.
Attacking the pawn.
h4, rook g6, rook 3 c7, and bishop takes. So black decided to give back.
Otherwise
piece. He had to probably.
Rook takes just to show the. You know, if you protected that take and then make a queen, probably check first.
Yeah.
The queen. So he had to take on b7.
We flicked in rook f8. King takes, rook takes b7. So now there was only one piece, and white suddenly has 3 pawns. I would still take white here. Knight e5, f4.
Now the king is safe on h3.
Knight
Otherwise
g4.
it would be mate. But he can, black can take the draw if he wants.
Yeah,
with knight
that's
f3.
true.
So it looks like Jordan is playing
King g3
for a win.
Wait.
So he could have played knight f3 with a draw, but he played knight g4. So black is playing for a win.
Well, I think he's gonna pick up by force now a pawn.
So what? King g3, and he took on e3.
On e3, yeah. King f3.
And knight
f5. And b5.
Mm-hmm.
Rook
but the
e6.
pawns, but I would be really worried. Rook where?
e6. And
a5?
a5. And knight e6.
Okay, maybe he. Well,
I would be very worried here.
I'll be very worried.
I see that the engine is giving a cool 000, but I would be terrified of those pawns.
At some stage, you might want to just sack on b5 and should be able to hold it, but.
I mean, okay, if he's gonna defend the pawn down, then you might as well have taken the perpetual.
Then might as well have taken the perpetual on f3. So.
Yeah.
So this is the current position. They just reached the time control, and Dario is thinking about it. Probably he wants to.
Apple Chess is saying I said no engines. We are not using engines. It's just when I update the moves, I get a quick glance at the Chess24 evaluation behind the moves. But we're not using engines. We're not looking at any engine lines. It's just the occasional engine line is forced on me, and there is nothing I can do about it.
Having said that, where to put the rook? Do you want to give a check or play rook b6?
Rook b6.
So let's say we give a check. I think
Petzo sees a
rook
check
here. Yeah.
Okay, so what? I guess if we take, we're too slow. Yeah, probably king takes.
Seems like the king is coming, and okay.
We have to play b6.
Have to play b6.
But king.
Looks like the king is in time here.
Where is he?
And I would be
a6.
Worried about that.
King
Can I play here?
Yeah, and after b7 you have king c7 simply.
Yeah. Exactly. So that's why I felt like rook b8 wasn't accomplishing anything.
maybe.
But I can check and then go back, maybe.
Yeah.
But still.
Okay, suddenly the pawns, now that we've seen a couple of lines, the pawn look less threatening.
Yes, exactly.
Maybe draw is the most.
And like this could be even a problem, and you'd have to suffer.
Yeah.
Should be a draw still. But
you shouldn't suffer too much, I guess.
It should be a draw.
Yeah. I'm sure
it's a
Jordan would
myth.
try and
Okay,
play this, yeah.
Yeah, the pawns are weak, but also it's very difficult for black to make a pass pawn. So I think this should be an easy draw.
Yeah.
But again, if that's the best, okay, maybe he thought he can always get that and he can at least press, but the other one is immediately drawn.
Meanwhile, on board 7, Parligras has beaten Astani Lopez. We saw that earlier. Tactical shot gone wrong.
Yeah, it seemed like he just needed to
Yeah.
defend a few threats. And then
So once again, very few upsets today. A small upset on board 1 with Inara Sadrakasova holding Gawain to a draw. On board 15, Sigurbjörn Björnsson holding Alex Fier to a draw, but that's all for upsets at the moment. I was thinking we must have gotten some results. Unfortunately, Bjorn went down against Petrosian. That happened quite quickly, actually, from that position.
yeah, but
we saw.
it was difficult.
Yeah.
A very pleasant ending for black.
Johann Sebastian Christiansson is also off to a perfect start after beating David Cummings. Yeah, the Djukic game, that is probably still wrong, the result. Johan Hjartarson also off to a 2 out of 2 start after beating.
We forgot to look at my good friend Goethe on board 23, but now it seems like it's too late.
We can
he's
still.
probably just losing.
Yeah.
So I don't want to rub it in. But he had a very good game yesterday against
It looks like.
a very good win.
Okay. It looks like we might have an upset. Let's go there very quickly. Board 31, and then we'll probably go on a quick break.
We needed board 31 for the upset.
Yep. The last of the live boards. So on board 31 we have Peter Sorey from England.
Which team does he play for? Do you know? No.
Yes, I should know. He plays, I believe, for Barbican.
And he might be struggling against Robin Bentel from Germany?
From Germany, yes. I think he was doing well earlier, but and the 64 Heartsire is telling us that Cornet is about to convert his pawn up. We saw that earlier against Alina Lamy. So let's just have a quick look at this one.
Yeah, so black is up a pawn. And he might have some... Okay, rook g4 was played, so maybe we want to attend to the pawn on g5, so king f6 actually makes a lot of sense. But I'm thinking at some stage black might even think about just a5. I'm not sure what white does here.
The rooks look very awkward. Earlier we saw a case of a good knight, a good knight against a bad bishop, but here the bishop is controlling a lot of squares.
Kind of shutting in both rooks from d3. So what? Okay, maybe you can play something like this. Just otherwise, I think black would play a5.
Brickleberry is questioning my use of the word upset. Even a draw is an upset if a lower rated player holds a stronger rated. It's not as big an upset as...
We should expect some draws by a strong player with white.
No matter what was the scenario of the game, well, it depends, of course. If the lower rated player is completely winning and only draws, he's not going to be very happy, but on paper it's always going to be an upset, I believe. Technically.
So okay, I think white must play knight c6 here, and
he has played knight c6.
Yeah, and he's kind of trying to hold on.
Also, Fuchsia, who's my dear mod and one of the most regular viewers, not only on my channel, but she's also doing a great job modding over at Chess24. She's saying that it was interesting to see Niels playing Gawain Jones line against the Petrov. I'm not so surprised because they are not only very good friends, but I believe they have done some work together on chess. So I'm not too surprised.
Maybe we're a little bit... No. Well, then again. Maybe we're too quick to dismiss white's chances, because, I mean, the d-pawn. I will play here next and push the pawn. Rook takes, d7.
Can we play rook e8? No.
Oh, you want to
Yeah,
Just
but
attack.
yeah,
But now,
yeah,
I can play d6. Have to play bishop to f5.
But wait,
d4.
can I wait?
Wait.
Instead of bishop f5?
Hang on a minute.
I know you'd queening with check.
Yeah, we can check.
Never mind.
Rook d4. That's not maybe not so clear. Maybe now I can play rook e2. Maybe
I'm
not.
probably gonna check. Am I gonna checkmate you? No.
It's not a checkmate. So
if only there was no check, but I mean this isn't clear at all.
No.
You will have to give up the bishop or take the perpetual. Mikey is saying after bishop f5, rook f3.
Ah. And Mikey would be right.
Is problematic indeed.
Yeah, we might even take on f5 and play d7, but black does have a lot of pawns, so it's not clear. It's actually a complicated position, even though black is up a pawn. I think knight c6 was important to stop black from going a5 and then b4.
Yeah.
So white is kind of, holding on here. It's not so clear actually. So perhaps not the upset that we thought.
So so the players have reached the time control. What we're going to do, we're going to take a quick break, 10 minutes at most. During the break, we will be muted. We're also going to leave the room, but we'll put the camera of board 2, Niels Gwendelius against Lau Shanyu, on the screen for you to watch, and Ingvar and myself will be back in just 10 minutes at the most. So thank you for watching, and we'll see you then. And we're back from round 2 here at the Reykjavik Open. As you can see on the camera, the playing hall is nearly empty. A lot of games have finished around the time control mark or just after. We are still your commentators. Let me put, since I was busy adding some commands to my Twitch channel, there you see it, Fidemaster Ingvar Tor Johansson and myself, Fiona Steele Anthony. So yeah, we are going to start with the game that we left off just before going on break, board 31, the game between Peter Sorey and Robin Bentel. And we thought maybe it's not so clear, but Robin Bentel has found the way to prove us wrong.
Yeah, he played. Because the rook stands so well on a2, yeah. But he had the simple idea of just putting on a1, which he did. Rook d4, and it looks like the d-pawn is becoming dangerous, but he just played rook e8 and white to the side.
Yeah. Because
he's just going to play rook to e1 and give mate. And you can't even make luft g3 or g4 because it's just rook e2.
Checkmate.
Checkmate. So that's all she wrote.
As Simon taught me, checkmate is the end of the game.
It ends. Checkmate ends the game immediately. So very effective. So okay, first upset.
And also Moving Dutchman is asking about, Alexandra Botas. She has a lot of fans, of course, in the chat, big streamer. Alexandra has won her game, so she's now on 1 out of 2.
Very good. Perhaps she can make her way to the live porch at some stage?
Yet. No, not yet. She'll have to win another game. But that's good news for all your Alexandra Botas fans out there. Meanwhile, also on board 4, Ervin Lamy has won his game against Tanya Sajdev. And then, actually, there's still quite a few boards going on in the top 10, top 20. So let's go. Shall we go back to Niels?
Yes, let's see the progress.
So let's go to board 2.
Yeah, we have the live board already. So we just need the camera. And we'll just go to the current position.
Yeah, so not much has happened, only one move, rook e1.
Okay, so black has, created some problems for white in that he has brought his king to g4, which means that white is a little bit stuck.
I have to say, I was a lot more optimistic about Niels' chances a bit earlier.
Mm-hmm.
Now suddenly the position looks very blocked and it seems difficult to make progress here.
Yeah, because now if you want to bring your king over to the queen side, you have to make the rook defend the pawn, but then you block the king, so it's not so easy all of a sudden. Did he play king f5 though? Okay.
And the Fuchsia is just saying, oh wow, they will play the third round today. Indeed, today is, as I called it, the dreaded double round day. There's only one here in Reykjavik, thankfully. So yes, round 3 will be played at 5 p.m. local time, which is GMT, which is 4 hours from now. And we always start our live show 2 hours in, so we will be back live 6 hours from now.
Yeah, so white would love to activate the king, but again, the problem is both the g3 pawn and the fact that we can probably just give a check and then come back. Because we have to defend the rook and then just come back. And I don't think we want to take on e4, like ever. Because forever. Because then we just might be worse. So yeah, how does white make progress? I might have to take back my assessment from earlier today. Don't think we take. Maybe we need to reroute the knight somehow, put it on d4, but what does that do?
I was surprised that Niels played h4. I thought he would to keep the option open at least.
Did he play that after the time control?
Yeah, on move 43.
Okay. So eventually he opted for h4 here. Yeah, which leaves this g3 pawn a bit vulnerable, and the g4 square as well, kind of tricky. So yeah,
In the chat, Apple Chess is asking how many times can you take a bye? Twice at most, I believe.
So it seems like low is defending quite well actually.
Yeah.
I don't see how white makes progress here. We can get the knight to d4 and there's maybe one idea that which isn't even dangerous. I was thinking, yeah, if we maneuver the knight, I'm guessing black just temporizes with the king back and forth, and we can give a check. And I thought we could use the pin, and it would be dangerous to get a check on e3 because you have to go into white's camp. But then what do you do?
Yeah.
And we could even come back and go to f6 as well. But even allowing this, we're not getting mated.
Yeah, there's
Because
no
the
way
king,
to get to H2.
the king can't go anywhere.
Yeah.
And
Yeah, the bishop on e4 is really holding the
defending
fort.
well.
Yeah.
So get your bishop outside the pawn chain. That, if you're gonna keep them all on the same color, I guess that's the lesson of this one.
Okay, so let's move on. Let's go back to Hjorvar Gwyttersson on board 14. He's still playing against Justin Sarkar, and they seem to have quite an interesting position.
Okay. Let's just pull it up. Niels will play on for a while though.
Yeah,
I mean,
of course.
You can keep torturing black even though you're not, creating any problems. And Hjorvar just played what? Bishop to e1, and Justin sacked a piece somewhere. Let's see that where that happened.
Justin, by the way, when he made the time control, he spent 18 minutes on move 41.
Okay.
And he has already been thinking for 8 minutes, so he's down to under 5 minutes for the rest of the game.
But that happens so often. When you get the time, you're like, you have a big think, and then God damn it, I'm in time trouble again. So he played this move h4 here.
And we have the players on the camera, which is very nice. Good job by our production team there. Our production team of one, so shout out to...
Nice.
What was his name again? And it was too Icelandic for me. I heard it at 9 a.m. or 10 a.m. and I was like,
Hi, Stulli.
okay. Shout out to our producer, Stulli. I have a hard time
That should be an easy one. It's like
a...
It's like...
What does... In Luxembourg, in Luxembourg, a Stuhl is a chair.
Okay.
Is it not? What's a chair in Icelandic?
Stol.
Yeah, similar. Similar-ish.
Similar-ish.
Okay, so what's happening in this
Justin
Hjorvar game?
decided to sack a piece here with h4. Which is what he tends to do, play very aggressively. He's played the King's Gambit in it's not even a piece sack. What's
Apple Chess was literally just saying that in the chat against Stefansson, I think.
Yeah. Okay, he gets the piece back, so I wasn't looking ahead here.
Thank you.
But now he insists, okay. And now it's a piece sack.
Stulli, the chat says thank you. Well, and thank you to you guys, of course, for being here. Couldn't do it without you either.
Seems like Hjorvar, should have everything under control here. It's only a pawn for the piece. And we're not getting mated. So what does black do here? Like queen h5. Well, still very tricky though. I wouldn't be a huge fan of playing this position, to be honest, but okay, let's say queen h5 just to do something. And I was thinking bishop here. And quite importantly, we always
actually, did you see that he played?
We always cover a1. So, what did you play? Queen
h5.
You played okay. I mean, probably the only move that makes sense. You don't want to trade the queens, and I'm assuming bishop g3 is the idea, unless there's a problem with it, which I. Well, maybe there's a problem actually. Because queen h1. Well, I can play queen g1 though. No, I can't.
Well,
if queen g1, queen f3, and then rook h1. That's a problem.
that is a big problem.
And if I play king e2 or f2,
Rook
then rook.
h2.
Yeah. So actually, we can't play bishop g3. But that's okay. We don't really have to do anything. We just have to, sort of keep the balance here.
I think Hjörvar, no, he hasn't played it, no. We see Hjörvar there on camera, the Icelandic Ginger GM. What's
Ginger
Karpov.
Yes.
For his playing style.
Since we have Chris Rice here, who we all played for, Dukes of Kent.
That was a great team,
Yeah, that's where he originally got the name, Ginger Karpov. Simon was playing there as well.
Jakob Cursing in the chat is asking, is Anna playing in Reykjavik too? No, she isn't, but she is here. She is visiting her...
No, she's in Reykjavik 3.
So she's here. I'm gonna try. Actually, I haven't checked my phone in a while because I messaged her this morning to ask if she wanted to join the show at any point today. Hopefully she will join one of us during the round tonight or tomorrow at the latest, because I think she's leaving either on Thursday or Friday, but we'll definitely have her on the show at some point, and also Erik Hansen, also visiting Reykjavik.
Definitely. We have a question from Muleskinner. Isn't it considered bad habit to eat at the board?
I think it really depends. I think if it's your move, it's completely fine, but also I think it really depends what you're eating. Yeah. If you're eating like, people eat a lot, something like a chocolate bar.
Yeah, if you're just having a chocolate or some nuts.
That's fine, yeah, but if you're going to have a kebab at the board or something, then that's a bit bad etiquette.
Don't disturb your opponent. If I'm having like a sandwich or something where, it makes some noise.
Drooling over the board.
I will move away from the board if it's my opponent's move, but if it's my move, then it's my move, and I can do whatever the fuck I want. Beep, have the beep I want.
Ingvar almost last year here in Reykjavik, he almost got me banned from Twitch. We did an after round stream on my channel, and Zibet was belly dancing and twerking.
So twerking is not allowed?
Twerking is not allowed, no.
I didn't know that.
So we're lucky that the channel is still up and running. Anyway, let's move on. Where do we go?
Where do we go?
Shall we go check in with John Pigott and Lupulescu?
I think Hjörvar should have things under control. It's not pleasant, but there's no immediate threat. So I think he will work it out and win this game. But John against Lupulescu.
So board 6, Lupulescu against Pigott. They have an ending. Equal material, knight against bishop. Shall we just
quickly go where we took on a5. This is the position we had earlier. Bishop d3, knight d6, utilizing the back rank. So black is getting quite passive here, and white is getting a lot of space. But is he losing a pawn? Oh yeah, he defends the pawn on d2. If you take on d2, knight takes c4, and you don't want to trade off the c pawn for the d pawn. So keeps the status unchanged. Status quo. Rook c2. Yeah, a little bit of back and forth just to reach the time control. Good technique by Lupulescu. He wants to take the decision after he reaches the time control. And now they have, after rook c1.
He goes g5.
And he goes g5. King g3, rook g1. That's our current position. And Lupulescu thought for 15 minutes before playing g5. So
I mean, it's a very committal decision.
Yeah, exactly.
Because pawns don't go.
They don't go backwards. Yeah. Except when you rearrange the pieces
after resigning.
So rook g1, and I guess you'd have to go back to h4 to protect the g5 pawn. You went to h2. Okay, what's the big idea here? Oh yeah, hello. We're attacking the rook. No, I thought rook g4. What happens here? Because we're attacking f4. And if we protect it, I take on g5. I can't take on h6, but like now, black should be okay. Now it's just like a.
What are we missing? I feel like we must be missing something.
So he played king s2.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure that move came as a surprise, and black will think.
And he played it very quickly after just a minute as well.
Yeah. So he had already decided to play this, I believe, when calculating b5, but g5, sorry. But black will definitely take his time now because he can't have expected this move. So rook g4, what do you do? He must have an idea.
Can you? No. What if you take on g6 and after rook takes f4, rook g3?
Ah, yes. Yes, that's the idea. Rook oops. Rook g3, yeah, utilizing the pin. I can't give a check, but then f7 drops as well, so I don't have time for this. Knight takes. It's even checkmate, so.
Yeah, nice.
Okay, so what happens if we just move the rook somewhere? Let's say we go here now. We're threatening to take with check now.
I think Pigott is at least going to hold this. I kind of fancy black's chances, I have to say. The bishop is doing a great job defending the king side.
It's hard to see how white should improve. Like even if you take on h6, you would want to get the knight to f6, but it's not so easy. The bishop is covering the e4 square. So rook d1 seems quite logical, actually.
Yeah.
Although I mean I can take. It's actually not a threat because I lose a piece. I think if I take back, then knight takes c4. No, I don't lose a piece, do I? After rook c2. Then knight a3 actually, so maybe I do.
This is too much.
Yeah, it's too much. So yeah, maybe some slight problems for black.
Black is still thinking.
But it's hard to believe that he should be losing here. I mean, because white is not. He's not creating anything, any threat to win any material or anything. So.
Okay, let's come back to this one in a bit, and there we see John Pigott on camera, Lupulescu away from the board. John Pigott is the player I was talking about earlier, got his IM title here in Reykjavik a couple of years ago. Fuxia in the chat is telling us that Lagarde's position looks very complex, so let's go there. Board 10, Maxime Lagarde again, István Boros. This is a game we haven't looked at all day.
Is he Hungarian or?
Hungarian, IM, yes.
Maxime Lagarde. Too many games open here. Let's see. Rook
Lagarde
E7.
had a very good tournament here last year. I think he came second or something. Exactly.
He has the white pieces against István.
And by the way, the game between Ragnarsson and Jordan van Foreest has finished in a draw.
So a good game.
Yeah.
We might have had something. There.
Yeah.
Looked very promising. Somebody was telling me he had the promising position. It was at least very interesting.
And Pragnananda, we looked at that earlier. He won his game against Sohal.
Yeah, it wasn't much, but okay. He managed to make something of it.
Yeah. We're still, I think we've had no... the only upset was on board 31, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But not a huge one.
Not a huge one. No,
I mean,
it's
good,
200, 200 right.
I'm guessing Stefan Bream. Has that finished?
I think he might still be fighting. Right? That's board 20. Yeah, Stefan Bream The engine bar doesn't look promising, but we can go there. He's still playing. But let's start
Yeah,
with
let's
board
start
10.
with this one. No, I think already when we looked at it earlier, it was a very difficult position. So this one, Lagarde is down a pawn. But what's going on?
Crafty Rav is asking once again when the third round starts. So the third round will start at 5 p.m. Local time. And he is wondering, do players with very long games, will they have the time to find something to eat and to take a walk? Yes, absolutely.
Yeah, of course.
FIDE imposes, of course, a minimum break time between rounds. So even if you played a 6-hour game, which is pretty much the maximum with this time control, you would still have 2 hours in between rounds, which is plenty. I think a lot of tournaments have shorter times in between rounds, but today, absolutely, everyone will have time to have lunch and take a walk if they so wish. Someone else, Philidor's position is asking, how's the weather in Reykjavik? Looks cloudy. It's maybe a bit cloudy, but the weather has been extremely good this year.
It was good yesterday at least.
Yeah. So yeah, now
because
for Lagarde.
April 1st it was actually snowing.
I saw
Did
your
you see the
video. Yeah.
Did you think it was April Fool's, or?
No, I've been here often enough to know. to know. I remember a couple of years ago, I was with you on what you call here the first day of summer.
Ah, yes, yes.
And it was snowing, so...
exactly.
Yeah.
So yeah, not unusual. I'm looking for a way to like... I'm assuming White is trying to win here. So one crazy idea, I mean, I just want to look at it. It might be, you know, might be bullshit. Yeah, it's bullshit.
What is the idea?
I wanted to play d6 at some stage, but the idea was if he takes the queen, but he just takes on d6, so it's nothing. But in general, it might be an idea in some cases that maybe even here or something. But if we can take with the deep pawn, I think black can't really stop it. But okay, this doesn't seem to work just yet. Because White is down a pawn. I mean, you have to find something.
Let's see.
What about like Queen f5 maybe? We also have maybe some back rank issues.
Wait, where is our position? So after Rook e7, White played Queen f5.
Yeah, I was thinking Queen f5 might be a way to make some progress.
Queen d6 was played, and Rook fc1.
Okay, yeah. So it sort of keeps the pressure.
So pawn down, but
yeah, we can't take on c7.
Play.
Can't take on b6. Yeah, all of a sudden it's hard to find the move.
The Fuxi is saying Lagarde will lose the next pawn now. So yeah, so d5. I guess we can take if we want.
Ah, yeah, because of the back rank. e7 isn't hanging because Rook d1, Queen d1. Yeah. So he can't take the pawn.
Okay, so what happens if he takes the pawn? I mean, I quite like this for black. Yeah. I like material.
Let's just make the Luft, h3. I want to take on f6 next. And once I do that, you might have to be careful. Let's say like a move like Rook e8. I'll take on f6. And I don't think you can ever take on c7 and take with a pawn. And what do you do here? Because you can't take Rook takes and you have problems defending here on g7.
So
Rook e8 is probably a poor
Queen
move.
g4. Did we miss Queen g4 at any point, winning the Rook?
Instead of making Luft, checking first. Now you can always play King f8, I think. I think he's talking about Queen takes d5, Queen here. King defends the Rook. Okay, the Queen defends the mate, but we don't have time to take. Or do we?
Maybe there's a perpetual here somewhere. Queen g7 or Rook c7 first.
Queen G7 might be.
So you can't go Queen F7 because of
because of Rook C7.
Is there and perpetual stalemate is saying there's a perpetual here indeed. Let's see, is it already on the board? No, black is still thinking after.
But why is the perpetual if we're to a check now? Queen G4, F5.
What if I start with Rook C7 instead?
I was thinking King D6, is that okay?
I wanted to play Queen B4, but there was a little problem with that.
A very strong move, if legal. I once saw a video on YouTube where some guys were playing a blitz game and he just, made them move like this, not on purpose. And the other guy didn't see it. Oh, I didn't see that moving. So okay, let's just see the current position is after Queen F5, right?
Jaco, will I be in Vik next year? I hope so. I don't know yet. It's a long time away. You didn't see me this year. I was there every day. But I often hide in the media room, hard at work. But yeah,
you said this already happened.
This happened. Rook C1 is on the board. And black is down to only 6 minutes. So he's going to have to make a decision.
Yeah, it's a big decision if to take on D5 or not.
Yep.
Because, if you don't, what else do you do?
I think he's going to take it, most likely. Meanwhile, on board 2, Niels Guandelius has been held to a draw by Zhen Yu Lo from Singapore. So a great result
do you know what that means?
For the young international master. What does it mean?
My pick is now on board 1.
Yeah, that is correct. We will have young Alireza Firouzja on board 1 this afternoon of the Reykjavik Open. So the top 2 seeds being held to draws, Gawain Jones by Sadwa Kasova and Niels Guandelius by Zhen Lo.
Yeah, I think it's a more worrying result for Niels since he had the white pieces.
Yeah.
But it's still early, so
Early days.
Early days. So actually, the more I look at it, it seems a bit tricky for black. Because it's hard to move.
They're still thinking, yeah.
And if you take on D5, we had this. Just making luft, trying to take on D6. Okay, well, let's say I take and we wanted to make the luft, right? Yeah. Okay, but I can go back though. What's happening here? But now I can take. Yeah, that was the whole idea to take on E7 and play Rook C7 without getting mated. And now it's a problem because 8-7 hangs. You can't play Rook D7. So it's not so easy for black. And the queen stands quite well on F5. So the idea to make luft and to take on E7 is my mouse is just all over the place. The idea to take on E7, make luft and take on E7 is quite tricky for black to meet.
Okay, so black is still thinking. What I suggest we do is we take a look at all the games that are still going on a live board. We give an assessment on every position and then wrap things up.
Yeah, we need to eat because we have another round today. And let's
start from the top. So we'll start with board 6. Lupulescu against Pigot. Not so much has happened since we left it, but we'll have to put it on the chess board. Not so much has happened here. We last saw it after...
saw this and he played... Oh, we actually have repetition. King H2, he went back and then he decided to go to H4. And now he took an H6.
Okay, so white is playing for a win. Unsurprisingly.
Yeah, and Rook F1. And importantly, there's no Rook G3 now. So I have a hard time believing that white can do anything. So I think we...
Predict a draw.
Do we agree on that? I think so.
I think we agree. Okay, so
next one is what?
Next one is board 9. Christopher Yu against Aryan Tari. Daddy. Apparently, Vignir has lost and has a tough 0 out of 2 start. Someone in
Vignir
the
lost
chat
again?
is saying.
Yeah, he should just go stream.
He lost to Birkir Johansson.
Oh, Birkir, that's a tough opponent.
I know, but it
No,
says here he
It says he
won.
won.
No, apparently Vignir won.
Okay.
And he's
But
on 1
Birkir's a
out
tough
of 2.
opponent. He beat Jon Victor in the Icelandic Championship in the first round, so
Yeah.
not somebody you want to sleep on.
To sleep on?
Sleep on. Isn't that what you call when you underestimate someone?
I don't know, I don't know. Learn something new every day.
So what's going on? King e6, white can take on h5. Is this enough for a win for Tom Cruise? AKA Ariantari.
Yeah. Is it enough? I don't know, but I would guess he has very good winning chances. So
Yeah, okay. First we have to take care of the knight.
the knight,
though.
yeah. But the knight doesn't really have.
Well, if you go here, then you can take on...
I'll take on
Ah,
H.
maybe Durgem tactics. I was thinking this. Which
Yeah, this
should be a draw.
I mean, it's definitely a draw, no? Unless the knight gets trapped.
Yeah.
And the knight does get trapped.
Hang on a minute. Do we have... Oh, yeah, we have to move the king. And bishop b5.
No, but even king
G4, we don't need bishop
king
b5.
G4,
You're
yeah,
right.
picks up the knight immediately.
And the bishop is blocking off the king from attacking the pawn.
Yeah.
Okay, so we don't have tactics.
No.
A very nice partial rush defense there by Fiona. So, and we can't take on h5 because bishop to c3.
Ariane is gonna win.
Take care of the knight. And if we do that, it seems we lose the h4 pawn. And if we do that, I think black should win.
Yeah, he's gonna win this somehow.
So we agree again, I think.
Yeah.
Ariantari wins.
Absolutely. The next one we're not gonna go to because we've just been there for quite a long time. Lagarde against Boas. Boas did indeed take on d5 and h3 is on the board.
As predicted. What else do we have?
So what do we predict there actually? That's
the queen e6.
Okay, let's go because there's a move we did not expect. So let's have a very quick look at Lagarde.
Yeah, I have
on board.
Should have it here. So he took on d5, h3, and queen e6 instead of back to d6, which makes more sense. And now we have to take a decision.
Well, it makes more sense, but can I?
I think what
can
can
I
make
take on b7?
If you want to draw, I think we can just make it.
But can I play for more than a draw here? Like how does?
Yeah, that's true though.
Because suddenly the black king is very weak. Suddenly the pawn on b6 looking quite dangerous.
But maybe I can just.
But he hasn't taken on
play
e6.
like this.
He played queen e4.
And this.
Yeah, that's true.
And this should be okay for black. Yeah.
So
he didn't take.
Yeah, he played queen e4.
No, but but of course you have to look at it. If you don't find anything, then you look. Okay, can I?
But he played queen e4 very quickly, 45 seconds. But Boros is under a minute.
Now he wants to take on b7 with the queen,
with
perhaps.
The queen, yeah. I think actually, you know what? I would start getting very worried here as black, especially with under a minute on the clock.
Yeah, it's very tricky. This is a very difficult position to play with little time because your king is vulnerable. You're always worried about something happening on the 7th rank, some checks to your king.
You don't really have any count to play anymore.
So I'm going to say that Maxime wins.
And Maxime is a very tricky player. I've commented on a lot of his games. He's very tricky, he's very resourceful. I also think he's going to win. After queen e4, black played rook d6, and I just saw the engine bar jump. I don't understand why yet. I think we can stick with it, because I think this game might just be over in a second.
What if I just take on e7, and I play rook here, and then I take on b7?
Oh no, even better.
What do you
Go
do?
back. Just instead of rook c7, if you give a check, throw in a check first.
The check first.
The only thing is, what happens after rook d8? Why is the check first better?
Rook d8, queen d5.
Very nice.
Puzzle rush.
Very
Rush.
nice.
Very
Very
nice.
nice.
So, okay, so
So after check, you have to go king.
let's say g7.
Yeah.
And I go back here now.
Yeah.
Oh, and it's worse because
Now we take.
now you have to take on c7. You can't defend anything.
And this is game over.
Because rook d1, king h2. And then the other line, maybe you could take your queen somewhere, but now...
I mean, those positions, like black was 2 pawns up, and it seemed, you know, everything was more or less under control, but it turned around so quickly.
Yeah.
And
But we were right about the practical difficulties.
Yeah.
And this seems to be the losing move in a difficult position, but
Yeah.
probably one that the computer could hold, but...
From a human point of view,
Yeah.
with no time on the clock, very difficult. I don't think we're gonna stick around because Maxime has 10 minutes on the clock. He's going to take some time to double check everything, but I have zero doubt he's going to play the winning continuation and win this game, get to 2 out of 2. So
Okay.
next up is Hjorvar
Hjorvar
on
against,
board 14.
What? No, Kira, what did you do? No.
He lost. What happened there?
Oh, my sleeper pick is dead in round 2.
Huh?
My sleeper pick?
Ah yes, your fantasy.
My fantasy sleeper.
But what happened here?
Oh, he took on c2. So what happened was he played rook there, f4.
But apparently the mistake was rook b6 already.
Yeah, he takes
After
f4
rook b6,
and rook takes
f4.
c2. Why is this though? A loss. Queen h1, king there, queen f3, is that? Let's see, is he getting mated or? Like king f2, you lose the queen.
Yeah.
You have to go to e2, otherwise queen h2 check.
So
And I have a check.
f3,
We go here.
d2,
Are we getting mated?
bishop f4.
Bishop f4, that's why he played f4, very clever.
This is checkmate, yeah?
Yes.
And checkmate is the end of the
So
game.
f4 was a very clever move.
Well,
Second
f4
in
was
this
the
tactic.
winning move,
Yeah.
and found with very little time on the clock. After rook b6, f4, there is no saving. So that's a big upset.
What happens if rook takes? Is it the same idea or do we play f3? Yeah, no, hang on a minute. This isn't mate. Or is it? No. Queen f3, blah, blah, blah. So what happens if he had taken on d6 here? I don't see it like immediately. f3 maybe?
That's
Yeah,
fine.
maybe this is f3. And the queen is starting to lose control. Yeah, if you go to g1 and queen h3.
Also, the knight on c2 is hanging.
Yeah, okay, you don't have a, if you go here, queen check.
Yeah.
And yeah, this will hang, queen g1, queen h3, and
This will hang with
that's
check.
embarrassing.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. Well,
Very
that
nice
was
save
nice
by
tactics by
Sarkar,
Sarkar. And perhaps Hjorvar felt that, you know, he was over the worst and should be winning, but nice resources, rook c8 and f4. Nice tactics.
Absolutely.
Go to the report, unfortunately, Hjorvar.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, let's go quickly to board 17, where Mathieu Cornet, I don't think we need to have a look at it for very long. He's just still converting his pawn up.
Yeah, now we have rook ending and shouldn't have any problems. Or, well, no, I don't think so.
They can't actually see the board, I
Yeah,
don't
of
think.
course.
But yeah, maybe we'll just... Mathieu will win.
Yeah, we have it now b4, the last move. Then we play rook b7, rook b6,
Yeah.
and win. So something like this, you play here. You just have to be careful not to allow the king to penetrate, so let's just go king h2. And black can't really do much. And then I'll go here. All you can do is wait. And eventually I'll take on a6 and on c6.
Unfortunately, Stefan Briem has lost to Brunello. Very few draws today, actually.
So let's
Only 4 draws.
look at
The last game is
Gukesh, and then
Gukesh.
we will wrap things up.
Yeah.
Right?
So board 19, board 19, Gukesh against Ortega Ruiz.
Seems to have an interesting imbalance, or does it?
Yeah, so black has 3 pawns for peace, but the black king looks in some
Yeah, we have the bishop here,
trouble.
and we might go for mate here at some point.
Yeah.
Yeah, for instance, okay, this pawn is under attack. Let's say we push it.
Apple Chess, by the way, in the chat is asking, is Coronet's wife playing? Forgot her name. Her name is Diamante. She's not here this year because tomorrow the European Championship for Women starts
that's
in
why we
Turkey.
Have a lot fewer female participants, actually.
Last year she scored a GM norm here. She had a fantastic tournament, and hopefully she'll be back next year.
Yeah, it seems like if e4, like, we're just going for mate.
Yeah.
We're going to play this, and then we just have to maneuver the bishop.
Yeah, this looks like their
king is toast. The knight is out of the game. Yeah, it's not easy to bring it back into the game. And any trade like this, the bishop just covers all the pawns easily. And we can just walk over to the queen side and pick everything up. Because the king can never leave, because we can take the pawn and still control everything on the one diagonal.
Yeah.
Diagonal, very good diagonal.
So this will be a win for Gukash. It's actually now, we've had a couple of moves. Where did we...
In this one, after king to
so white played
F6.
bishop b5.
You played e4, yeah.
Yeah, sorry.
Bishop b5.
And king f8. And apparently it's a forced mate, and he has found it. Bishop c6 is on the board.
The board?
And d4.
Ooh.
And bishop
F4
f4,
maybe,
they are
going for
playing
mate.
it all at tempo now, so we'll actually see this game conclude, I believe. Mate seems to be unavoidable.
It is inevitable.
It is the end of the line.
Yeah, nothing to be done. So Gukash wins.
And we have the players on camera there.
2 out of 2. Have they finished, maybe?
I think they have just shaken hands, yeah. So, win for Gukash. And that brings us to the end of today's show. Only 2 major upsets.
Well, not today. We have another show.
Yes, to the end of the round 2 show.
Yeah.
Ingvar and I will be back at 7 p.m. local time, which is just over 5 hours from now. The round will start at 5, so that's 3 hours and 15 minutes from now. You will be able to watch the games live. We'll start 2 hours in. Thank you very much for watching us. Big shout out to Justin Sarkar, who beat Greta Jorva Gretarsson with the black pieces, and to Robin Bentel, who beat Peter Sorey with the black pieces. The top 2 seeds were held to draws. Gawain Jones by Dinara Sadrakasova and Niels Grandelius by Zhen Lo from Singapore. That's all of us from us for now. We'll be back later tonight. Thank you very much for watching. Thank you for being in the chat. Gakos is just asking, how is Botes doing?
She won today.
She won today. She's on 1 out of 2. So we'll be back with a lot more interesting games this afternoon. Until then, take care. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.